G'day there, podcaster.
Courtney Act. Had a wonderful chat with her this morning.
Yeah, very pleasant.
Yeah, I like Courtney Act. I think we've had her on a couple of times, I think.
Yeah.
Also...
At least once.
Yeah, once in the past and then this time. But we do have similar energy because we're both part of the Nova network.
Yep.
Bar that, not many similarities.
Well, you don't know. You've never really hung out with Courtney Act.
It's true. We're all Australian, aren't we?
Yep.
And
we're all human.
And we love attention.
You do.
Mate, if you didn't secretly deep down love attention somewhere, you wouldn't be in the game, would you?
Mate, I'm dreading the wedding. I'm dreading all the people looking at me.
Yeah, but you work in radio, right? Like, surely...
Yeah, but that's the best thing. It's just you and me.
Just two people in a room,
yeah.
just rocking it.
That's what made stand-up even cooler, I think, because, I didn't want to be up there.
Yeah.
But I had stuff to say.
Gee whiz. This guy's an artist. Anyway, enjoy our chat with Courtney Act. The Dancing with the Stars finale is this weekend, and a member of our Nova family, Courtney Act, is in. They join us now.
Oh, Nova family. That felt like a nice warm hug.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I know. It feels good. And look, I feel like a bit of an idiot, but obviously drag names are always amazing and very funny. And I think...
Not you and Sonia Kruger.
No, but I feel like the pennies only just dropped me. Like, literally, I was like looking at my sheet, Courtney Act, yeah, and I was like, hang on, caught in the act. Is that what you were going for?
Welcome to 2022. Finally make it.
What an
That's what Sonia
idiot.
Kruger said on last week's episode of Dancing with the Stars. The penny dropped for Sonia Kruger.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's 20 years later, Sonia Kruger.
You've been Courtney Act for so long, but I'm like, I suppose I've never really thought about it that much. I'm just like, hey, that's just your name to me.
Now, look, you're in the grand final against some big names. You got Grant Denyer, Ricky Lee, David Roden. Just to name a few, who do you think is your biggest threat in this game?
All of them, especially those three you just mentioned. Ricky Lee's amazing. David Roden's amazing.
Yep.
Denny Hines, also amazing.
Yes.
Grant Denyer. Like, it's on my season of Dancing with the Stars, I feel accurately say, pipped at the post by Samuel Johnson. But this time I just feel like it could be anybody's game. I do see that I'm at the top of the betting to take this out, but I think I'm just going to place some money on Grant and Denny and Ricky and David, just so that if I do lose, I'll still get a bit of cash in the hip pocket.
That's actually really smart. So you bet everybody else and then throw, like you fall over midway through and then you make big.
Or you go Tonya Harding it and just, do Grant Denny's leg in before. I mean, you are in a unique position where you can really make a bit of money on sports bet, that's for sure.
How long do you, it's probably a generic question, but how long, like rehearsal time, do you put in?
When people say, oh my God, you're so good at that, I have to point out that we rehearse probably 40 hours for a 1 minute and 30-second number.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So we've rehearsed for a 40-hour week just on one number for each number, and then there's even more than that, like on the dance floor and in the room and in the costume. And I mean, look, all of the people who are in the final obviously have got some skills that we've learned over the time, but it's really when you've got, like Josh, my dance partner, is so amazing and such a great teacher, and we just click. I think the chemistry between us is a huge part of it. The fact that we're in there in the room for 40 hours, like every little detail, every foot, every angle, and just drilling it and drilling it and drilling it, and then you get to go on that main stage and put on that show. I have to tell you, one of the greatest joys for me as a performer is getting to do those numbers.
Yeah. You mentioned there as well your dance partner, Josh. Your boy meets boy love story, Foxtrot, last time on the show was amazing. Is it important to spread those sort of messages as well through your dance?
Yeah, it really is. What's so interesting? I've been dancing as Courtney the whole time, which, like, visually is like a guy and a girl dancing if you don't think about it too much.
Yep.
And weirdly, like this boy meets boy love story where I danced out of drag as Shane with Josh, and it wasn't just a dance. It was a boy meets boy love story. And I just realized that, like, growing up, even today, you can find queer representation on telly, but to actually find an example of two guys or two girls in love or expressing affection toward each other, that's still pretty uncommon. And so just to do this little boy meets boy love story felt so exciting to think about, me as a 14-year-old watching telly and not just the queer kids out there, but even like the straight kids out there seeing two guys dancing together, being affectionate towards each other. It's like, oh, actually, That's really sweet.
Yeah, of course.
We can love and accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for that performance as well, I mean, you got the perfect score from the judges, 40 out of 40. It's rare. You've set the bar very high for yourself.
You can watch the Dancing with the Stars finale on 7 this Sunday night and on 7 Plus as well. You can hear Courtney's podcast, Brenda, Call Me on the Nova Player too. As always, an absolute pleasure. Courtney Act, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
And that's the end of our chat with Courtney Act.
It's hard, it's hard
Yeah.
being so prolific.
Ben has
That
so much
even
to
though
say.
you don't want to be up there, you have to get up there. It's like a duty.
Yeah, people are
calls
going,
to
we
me.
want to hear
What he has to say about
what
that.
Ben's got to spit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spit in our mouths, they say.
They used to say that.
And I get up there
back
and
in
go-
the stand-up days.
Yeah, I get up there and go,
Yeah. I've also stepped away from the stand-up mic.
yep.
Even stepped away from my own Instagram in some ways.
Yeah.
Just
Although
going.
you did do a post recently about the bucks you threw me.
That's true. That was probably the second of this entire. No, first this year.
Yep.
So like goes to show, like I'm not really.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm just like, what we're doing is we're just creating that space,
Mm.
and then in 10 years, everyone in the suburban Adelaide comedy scene
Yep.
are going to go, wow, Ben and Liam are coming back to the Slug and Lettuce in Salisbury.
And more than 6 people will turn up.
We have been waiting for so long. What are they going to say?
Do you think that they should do comedy out there? If they do, if we ever pick up a stand-up mic again, I would love to do our opening show at the Slug and Lettuce.
Yeah, cut up
and
tape
jam-pack it.
Slug.
Like, try and pack it out.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be too. It's not huge.
It's not massive,
It's
is
just
it?
a pub.
You get 50 people in there, it's packed.
I did a gig at the Slug and Lettuce once with Greg Fleet. I thought, and in my head, I'm like, Fleet's too big for the
You've
Slug
made
and
it.
Lettuce.
You know what? I just love that the Slug and Lettuce is in like Paralawi or like one of those suburbs near
like
near the roundabout, and there's a
bike
BMX track
and
out
a
the
state
front.
swim.
It's so suburban.
And there's like big gates around it, and I'm pretty sure someone got stabbed in the car park there once.
Oh yeah, it's like it's a bit dodgy.
This is like a real.
Tennis courts are there as well.
It's a funny. It's actually maybe a talk topic in this. Sarah was like, "Oh, what's the most bogan thing?" Like just out of nowhere, I was like, on the radio, because she was like, "What's the most bogan thing you've done?" And because she was like, for me, it's like I used to pour cask wine into like nicer wine bottles when I'd go to places.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty bogan. And then I was trying to think of something, but it's just popped into my head now. We used to go to the Slug and Lettuce for family birthdays a lot.
Oh wow.
And we used to cut the cake on the boot because we didn't want to pay the bloody cake fee.
Wait, what's a cake fee?
Like the cutting, they're like, oh well, it's going to cost you $10 to
Oh,
cut that
because
in
they
here
would go back and cut it.
and give you.
Isn't that a raw?
It's like a corkage for cakes.
Is
It's
it
freaking raw.
corkage and cutting fee?
So-
Absolute raw. It's like I've brought my cake and my
Yeah.
wine, and you're going to charge me to take it back there and cut it up into 10
Yeah.
slices.
So we would go, out of protest, we go, well, we're going to go eat this cake in the car park. And yeah, someone's getting stabbed to the left of us.
Yeah,
But
that's pretty bogan. Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty bogan, isn't
save a buck.
it? Just eating cake in the Slug and Lettuce
Yeah,
car park.
yeah.
That's honest. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Anyway,
All right,
see ya.
bye.
Ben and Liam is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.